Good morning, class. Today we're going to do lesson number 18 on deforestation and how this affects climate. Before we jump into today, I just wanted to go over not really any news, but give you kind of a plan for news for how we're going to return to schools in June. So um, there's been a lot of information coming out about what it's going to look like for students returning to school in June. And it's really hard to pinpoint how it's actually going to look because there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of different information from reputable sources coming out. So it's hard to figure out what's really going on. So right now, I don't have any new news for you. Next week, I'm going to put together a video that will cover everything and hopefully put you at ease and clearly state what is expected of you. Now, one thing I know is it's not going to be required to come to school. So for some of you, if you are selling online learning, the goal is that it's going to stay the same for you. If you are struggling with online learning, this will be an opportunity for you to come back into the classroom and have more of a traditional learning. So what we're more used to beforehand. So that's kind of all I know for now. But my goal is to keep things as simple for you as possible. I don't want to add any extra stress. So next week, I'll come up with a video that will hopefully clearly state what's expected of you. So let's start with what is deforestation and why does it happen? So this is when we remove a large portion of forest. So just to kind of any region that's covered trees, and we're just going to wipe it out. We do this for many reasons. Sometimes we do it for logging. We want to get the timber. So a lot of the time in British Columbia, we're going to cut down forest so that we can get the wood, and that wood is going to be turned into paper or other supplies. So that is one reason, although it's not the biggest. The largest reason why we remove large regions of forest is so that we have more land to farm. So a lot of the time, farmland gets used and then it loses its nutrition. And instead of rotating properly, people are lazy and they just doing, okay, we'll cut down trees, we'll get more farmland. That's going to be better farmland over there. So a lot of the time, trees are wiped out unnecessarily almost for more farming land. And sometimes this land goes to cities, but about 60% of the forest we remove go to farming. Sometimes it's for mining. If we want to get the resources under the forest, we have to clear the forest as well. Deforestation can also happen from natural causes as well. So you have a hurricane, a massive flood, that can actually, or a forest fire, that can actually wipe out fires as well. So what's happening in Brazil right now is pretty shocking. What they're trying to do is they're actually burning down forests, which appears to be on purpose, to actually drive indigenous people away from the home to take more power or to take over more land, which is absolutely terrible. And it just shows that while here in Canada or other countries, there might be an emphasis on being green, being eco-friendly, that a lot of the time, if things are profitable, then the environment comes second or last almost. So definitely there's a lot that needs to be done in this case for environment as well as human rights. But that's a conversation for another day. So looking at how humans have reduced the amount of forest on Earth. So if we look at the table on the left here, we can see the total number of hectares. So hectares is an area of, is a unit of area. So each number here is 1 million hectares. So in 1990, there's about 4,170,000,000 hectares. And now in 2010, there was only about 4,033,000,000 hectares. So that's a reduction of about 3.35% of the world's forests in 20 years. That's a huge amount of the world's forest gone in 20 years. And each year, we are currently removing 7 million hectares of forest land or forests, and 6 million hectares of that is going to farming, which is a lot of space going to farming, when it's showing that to feed everybody on Earth, we don't even need that much farming land. So it's almost unnecessary that we're clearing this much forest. And this is about 0.2% of Earth's forest we're removing each year. And it's predicted through simulations that without humans on Earth, there'd be twice the amount of forest that we have on Earth. So there'd be almost 8 billion hectares of forest on Earth. And we'll put that in context of what that means in a second here. But just to give you kind of a historical standpoint of this, we talked when we looked at the history of climate change and how humans first affected it, about how when humans started to expand rapidly in Europe, that we started to farm. And this farming meant that we had to clear a lot of forests. So again, farming and forest just historically have not gone together. We can't have both. We need a lot of land that's cleared to have efficient farming. So we remove the forest. So if we look at the images below here, we can see predicted images of how the forest would look before 1900 and what the forest looked like after 1900. Or, yeah, sorry, before 900 and after 1900. So we can see the black represents forest and the white represents kind of farmland or residential areas or cities. So we can see a drastically reduced forest in Europe. And this was because people started farming. So it's not only that now that we're removing forests, humans have had a huge history of removing forests, changing the land so that it best suits us. And we're finally getting to a point where this is catching up to us. So we're starting to realize our mistakes, and there's been global efforts to plant more trees, and there's been fundraisers. So there's one on YouTube recently where every dollar donated, a new tree is planted, or things where I think it was Mr. Beast put on a thing where he's planting a bunch of trees. And this is definitely helping, but a lot of times some of these trees get planted in tree farms where they just get cut down. So it's not like we're sustaining forests, we're just growing more trees to cut down. So we have more lumber. So it's great that we're planting trees, but there still needs to be a bigger impact or more trees being planted. We need more land dedicated to forests. So we'll get to why forests are important in a second. But even though we're planting these trees, there's still an economic gain for deforestation. Removing forests is still profitable. So until that is no longer the case, or until we truly get to the point where our future matters more than making a profit, which it doesn't seem like currently we're going that way, we're not going to have this change in number of trees around. It's just going to keep decreasing because you make money off that. So there needs to be a way to make money off not cutting down trees.